Reja, Chimedo, Migi, Kame, Bane, Ije, Kame, Ije, Nambra, Jibi, Samba, Samba, Shimu, Papa, Jere, Zawan, Jedan, Tanjedan, Dimbi, Kote, Dadan, Lape, San, Zojire, Bi, Trache, Dejan, Dele, Shu. Jebara Jebia Padia Lama Tamba Nada Changun Javi Wambo Taji Chenji Ziba Chembo Tenji Lede Tsene Mena Jizi Jambi Awa Losan Yishi Dinzi Jazo Sisa Wanjir Tsomba Mibi Pia Zambi Chogi Shingani Tiba Chimbi Sonshi Samo Shiye Yen Shingan Bora Jiwa Tuji Joye Dende Jizi Jene Daso Maji Nagi Tada Nyambi Siji Tanji Dini Shan Zoni Zoni De Ngabara Zo
So today we are celebrating the month of miracles of the Buddha and celebrating the Monlam, the Prayer Festival, which was started in Tibet and inside Tibet in the past. The geishis would sit for their final exam, and then the other students of the great monastic centers of learning would debate with those candidates for geishe harampa. Though I have not studied that much like those geishis, but I have done quite an extensive study, and I sat for that final exam in Lhasa during the Monlam Festival. And around that time, I had a strange dream there was Buddha in the center, and I was down somewhere down below, and the Buddha was beckoning me, winking and beckoning me to come, and then I went to him, and I went to the Buddha, and he was very pleased with me. I had a very strong feeling. I had nothing to offer much to the Buddha, but I had a chocolate candy, and I offered it to the Buddha. The Buddha really was pleased with me. And I had such dreams like that, and different dreams like that. And what that shows or indicates is that I am a sincere student and disciple of the Buddha. If I may be audacious, I am someone who has purposely taken rebirth, and a follower of the Buddha who has taken rebirth purposely. We have lost our country at this point of time and live in exile in India. Where there is great interest in the teaching of the Buddha, and in the whole entire world as well, there is great interest in Buddhism in general, and particularly the Buddhist psychology and science. There is great interest from the modern scientists. I'm sometimes being double double dealing. When I meet with scientists, I say I'm a scientist, whereas when I meet with Buddhist monks, I say I'm a Buddhist. So, of course, Lord Avalokiteshvara is said to have 1,000 eyes. Though I do not have that many eyes, I do serve the teaching of the Buddha and sentient beings to the best of my ability, and I have been able to serve very well so far. And there's indication from my dreams that I might live to be 110 or so. I'm someone who was born in Dome, Amdo region, northeastern part of Tibet, and was installed on the throne of the Dalai Lamas. Of course, the high throne doesn't really mean much to me, but I sat for the final exam of the Geshe-la-Rampa degree, and then I came into exile, and I've been able to serve. I had a great opportunity to serve the Dharma, the teaching of the Buddha, and sentient beings to the best of my ability. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I make this prayer: may the sublime, precious bodhicitta arise where it has not taken root, and wherever it has grown, may it increase further and further. So I make this prayer, and I have a good understanding and good intellect, which helps me to have good dialogues and discussions with modern scientists. And we discuss about mind and emotions and so forth. In other words, whether people are believers believe in religion or not, but through the teaching of these workings of mind and emotions, I feel I'm able to serve beings as much as I can. To the best of my ability, I do try to help others. I was born in Siling region in Dome, and I was named Lamotundrup. My childhood name was Lamotundrup. And there was a prophecy which says that a boy would be a boy who would bear the name of a girl, Lamotundrup. I was born in Amdo, and until now, I have done my best to serve beings and the teaching. As I said earlier, there's indication in my dreams that I would live to be 110 plus years. And my remaining life, I'm determined to use it to serve the Dharma and beings to the best of my ability. After coming into exile, I've been able to help beings quite well. And with scientists, when I have discussions about mind and emotions, they also really admire what I have to say. And amongst the scientists, when I meet with scientists, I have discussions which is compatible to their temperament. So this time I am going to, as it's the tradition during the Monlam Festival in Lhasa, as the tradition has it, there is this custom of reading the Jataka tales, the birth stories of the Buddha in his previous lives. So now we are at the fifth section, Suparaga. When one dwells in the Dharma, the truth is enough to dispel destruction. What more could one say of the good that comes from observing the Dharma? Thus, one should follow the teachings. During one of his many lifetimes, the Bodhisattva, a very wise ship captain. Great beings, because of their innate acuity and clarity of mind, invariably surpass any other great men in the world, in whatever art or science they undertake. Thus, it was that during his lifetime as a helmsman, the Bodhisattva possessed all the extraordinary qualities one could imagine. Knowing the course of celestial bodies, he always knew his exact location and was therefore never lost. Knowing all the different types of prognostication, he was always in tune with the shifting pattern of events and therefore knew whatever was timely or untimely. By observing the color of the waters, the composition of the shore, the shape of the rocks, the species of birds, fish, and other creatures, he could easily place himself in any sea. In addition, he was always vigilant and never dull witted, and was able to endure great cold, heat, rain, and fatigue. Being always careful and observant, and so skilled, he never deviated from course. He was in a great demand among sea merchants to guide them to their destinations. And since his navigation was so very successful, he came to be known as Suparaga, good passage, after the seaport where he lived. Even when he had reached old age, he was known to be a lucky and fortunate being. Sea traders anxious for safe passage would beseech him in the most respectful terms to captain their ships. Thus, one day, the merchant from Bharukachena, who traded with gold land, intent on a safe and prosperous voyage, stopped at the port of Suparaga to ask the great being to embark with them. Suparaga replied to them, "I'm an old man. How much assistance do you think I can be? My mind wanders, my body is weak, and my eyesight is almost gone." But the merchants persisted. "We do not care about your physical condition. Be assured we have no plans to ask you to work, nor will we put any task into your charge. We do not want you for your strength. We want you for your presence alone. The dust touched by your lotus-like feet will bring us luck and ensure our ship a safe course no matter what the danger." And so, out of compassion, the great being, though old and ailing, boarded the vessel, and they set off, with all the merchants rejoicing, convinced that the voyage was bound to be successful. Soon the ship lost sight of shore and found itself in the realm of sea serpents, that part of the great ocean haunted by strange fish, a sea which churned with surging waves, buffeted by the whims of the screaming and crying wind. Precious stones lay in the hidden depths where Nagas lived. On the surface, garlands of white foam glistened against a billowing sea of the most brilliant blue, shining with metallic luster, as if it were the sky melted by the glowing heat of the sun's beams. The shore had long since disappeared. They had entered the open sea. Near dusk, as the sun's rays began to lose their strength, without warning, a fearful omen manifested. A great gale arose, lashing the waters forcefully, covering the surface with white foam from the billowing waves and disturbing the sea to its very depths. Shaken by the hurricane wind, the water rolled higher and higher as the winds rose until the ocean assumed the dreadful appearance of mountains trembling before the apocalypse, like many-headed hissing serpents obscuring the sun. Bluish-black clouds swirled their tongues of lightning, crackling with a terrible thunder. As the sun set, the darkness took command, growing solid and dense, enveloping everything. Attacked by sharp darts of pouring rain, the sea arose in a fury, and the poor ship trembled as if in fear, frightening its occupants to their very core. Each behaved according to his inherent qualities. Some overcame, stood speechless with terror. Some acted with courage, busily attempting to avert the danger, and some were deep in prayer. For days, the winds and sea ran high, and the vessel moved with the current. No land came in sight, and no favorable sign came from the sea. The signs that they did see were strange to them, and the merchants grew increasingly distraught, bedeviled by fear and despair. By Suparaga, the Bodhisattva, comforted them, saying, "For those who would cross the great ocean, such portentous turmoil is the rule. Why wonder at it and fall prey to fear and emotionality? Afflictions are never conquered by low spirits and dejection. Those clever enough To do what must be done can easily overcome all difficulties. Take courage. Come, shake off this gloom and dejection, and do what needs to be done by whatever means. The wise, spurred on by firmness of mind, grasps success in all its glory. The marchants, their spirits revived by the great being, looked down into the sea and saw beings like men, arrayed in silver armor, diving up and down in the sea. Amazed by this phenomena, they ran to Suparaga. We have never before seen anything like this in the ocean, they cried. Demon warriors wearing silver armor, with fierce looks and ugly hoof-like noses, sport in the ocean, diving up and down. Suparaga replied, "There is no need to fear. These are no men. So these are no demons, but fish." There is no need to fear. These are not no men. These are no demons, but fish. Still, they are a sign that we have been driven far from shore. This is the sea of hoof garlands. You must try to turn back. But the high-running sea and the gusting winds continued to push them further in the wrong direction, and they could not alter their course. Before long, they found themselves approaching another sea, one shining with silver luster, bright with a mass of white froth. The merchant said to Suparaga, "What great sea is this? Its waters veiled in foam, like fine white linen. It seems covered with liquid moonbeams. It seems to show a laughing face." Suparaga said, "This is difficult. We are driven too far. This is the sea called the Milk Ocean. We should go no further. Turn back if you can." But the merchants replied, "The ship goes too quickly. The winds are too strong. It is impossible even to slow down, much less change course. The current drives us too swiftly, and the wind blows contrary." Then, having crossed that sea, they came to another, its rolling waves tinted with the golden splendor, the color of flames. Filled with amazement, the merchant said to Suparaga, "Now the water appears like a huge, blazing fire. The waves are not blue, but seem tinged by the rising sun. What sea is this? Why is it this color?" The great being did not think it advisable to reveal the reason for the ocean's hue, but said only, "The Sea of Fire Garlands is its name. It would be wise indeed for us to turn back now." But on and on they went, crossing that sea until the color of the water changed again, like a field of ripe kusha grass. Its waters were glowing with the radiance of topaz. Marveling again, the merchants asked Suparaga, "What sea is this? Its waves are the color of ripe wheat, and when the waves break, the foam crowns the sea like a mantle of flowers." Suparaga replied, "Alas, make all efforts, merchants, to turn back. It is not wise to go further. This is the sea of grass. its currents, like an elephant not heeding the goad, are difficult to master, and nothing good will come of it. But they were unable to turn the ship, no matter how hard they struggled. Soon they were crossing into another sea, as green as the most brilliant emerald. The merchant said to Suparaga, "Now the sea has yet another appearance. Its waters are the color of emeralds or aquamarine, and they shine like a beautiful meadow. The foam is as lovely as water lilies. What sea is this?" Hearing this, the great being heaved a long and deep sigh, his heart aching with knowledge of the calamity that was imminent. In a low voice he spoke, "We have gone too far. From here it will be hard to return. This is the sea of reeds at the end of the world." When they heard these words, the poor merchants were plunged into despair. Minds lethargic, limbs without power, they sat in dull apathy and did nothing but sigh. After crossing that sea, in the afternoon near twilight, when the sun seemed to be setting into the ocean, a fearsome and tremendous noise arose. The ear-splitting sound struck fear into their hearts. It sounded like the sea rising in anger, like bamboo groves crackling with fire, like thunderclaps. Jumping from their seats, they all stared in horror as they saw before them the immense mass of water falling down, as if into some enormous chasm. In utter terror, they ran to Suparaga, saying, "We hear a distant noise which is so loud it pierces our ears and strikes terror in our hearts. It is as if the Lord of the sea were angry, as if the entire ocean were falling into an awful abyss. What sea is this? What can be done?" The great being, alarmed, cried out, "Alas, alas, you have come to the dreadful place from which no one returns, the mare's mouth, the mouth of the Lord of Death. The Mara's mouth, the mouth of the Lord of Death." At this, the poor merchants were stunned by the fear of death. Realizing that all hope of life was lost, some wept, others moaned and cried aloud. Some were unable to move. Still others seemed out of their minds with fear. Some were humbly praying to the gods. Some were praying to the Adityas or to the Rudras. Others to Sagara, Lord of Ocean. Others were muttering mantras, and still others were bowing down to Devi, goddesses. Some again went to Suparaga and said, "You who have the ability to help all beings, who have so often relieved those in distress, now is the time to use your power for action. We take refuge in you, for we are sorely distressed and without any protection. The wrathful waters are about to swallow us like a morsel of food. You cannot abandon this poor crew, letting us perish in the rolling waters. The great ocean itself will obey your command. Please put a stop to its terrible rage." So I'll stop here. Please put a stop to its terrible rage. So as the tradition has it, During this Monlam Prayer Festival, we read the Jataka tales. So it's it's an historical event that has been there. And so I have read a part of the Jataka. Though, as refugees, it's quite a sad situation that we are in. But on the other hand, we are able to have interactions and contacts with the wider world. And so, regarding myself, I was from faraway land in northeastern part of Tibet and came to the central Tibet. And then I went through my studies and then did my final Geshe degree exam in Lhasa during the Monlam Festival in 1959. So after following all these different events, we have met with a new situation, and there's been new interest from people who have not been following the Buddha Dharma in the past, and particularly people pay attention to studying about our minds and emotions and how to tackle our negative emotions. And so for that, the modern scientists also take great interest. And many Western scientists have taken great interest and admire our tradition. Since coming to exile, we have also benefited and have been beneficial to others. So in other words, we need to cultivate the good heart of bodhicitta, this altruistic spirit of enlightenment. Whoever we meet, if we could deal with them with this good heart, the warm heart of bodhicitta, then we make this human life a worthy one. Regarding myself, as soon as I wake up, I reflect on bodhicitta, this altruistic spirit of enlightenment or awakening, and then also the fact that things are like illusion, that they do not exist the way they appear to me. And so my daily life is spent in this way, reflecting on bodhicitta and the nature of emptiness. And so that's all I have to say today. Thank you. Thanksgiving mandala offering. The Master, who is not different from Vajradhara, the conqueror, Vajradhara himself, the Lord of the entire teaching of the Buddha, the Master of the complete teaching, refuge and protector, Lord of the conquerors, omniscient, and the all-seeing, the visionary one, glorious, the noble Lord, Jambel Ngawang Losang Eshe Tenzin Gyatso, In gratitude for having excellently received from your lips these profound Mahayana teachings, we make this mandala offering to you. Om Vajra Reke Ahum. The basis, the foundation is quite pure and vast, of vast strength. The good ground is gold. Om Vajra Reke Ahum. The boundary is a ring of iron mountains encircling the Mount Meru. Here is the Meru, the king of mountains, in the center. In the east, Purva Videha. In the south, Jambudvipa, this world we live in. In the west, Aparagodania. In the north, Uttarakuru. And the eastern continent is flanked by Deha and Videha, the southern continent by Chamara and Aparachamara, the western continent Shata and Uttaramantrina, the northern continent Kurava and Kaurav. Here is the jewel mountain, the wishing tree, the bountiful cow, and the spontaneous harvest, the precious wheel, the precious jewel, the precious queen, the precious minister, the precious elephant, the precious horse, the precious general, and the vase of great wealth. Here are the lady of charm, the lady of garland, the lady of song, the lady of lady dance, the lady of flowers, the lady of incense, the lady of lamps, and the lady of perfume. Here are the sun and moon. Here are the jeweled canopy and the banner of universal victory. In the center is all the bountiful wealth of gods and men. All these pleasing offerings, pure, perfect, and complete, we offer to you, gracious root teacher, together with all the glorious and sacred teachers of the lineage. In particular, we offer these pure rams to you, complete master of the doctrine, master of the complete teaching, refuge and protector, lord of the conquerors, omniscient and visionary, glorious and noble Lord Jambel Ngawan Losan Shitinzin Gyato, in gratitude for having excellently received from your lips these profound Mahayana teachings. Accept it with compassion for the sake of all beings, and accepting it, grant your blessings, we pray. Is ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Sumeru, the four continents, and the sun and the moon. Visualizing it as a blessed Buddha felt, we offer it. May all beings enjoy the happiness, the perfectly pure Buddha felt. Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniyataya Me. So some people have requested me to do the bodhicitta ceremony. So this is very good. On my part, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I reflect on bodhicitta, which is helped by the two aspirations, aspiration for enlightenment and aspiration to help sentient beings. So I do that every day. So let us do this bodhicitta. So when thinking of bodhicitta, it helps you to come out of despair and become confident and feel confident about yourself and others, and to have this determination to work for the benefit of sentient beings until the space comes to an end. And in order to practice bodhicitta well, it is important to practice the view of emptiness as well, the insight into emptiness. Because we are thinking of bringing all sentient beings to enlightenment, Buddhahood. So that has to happen through the understanding that things do not exist the way they appear to us. So when you combine bodhicitta with the new view, the insight into emptiness, it is very powerful. So I do practice these two principles daily, and they are very beneficial to me. So I'll do bodhicitta ceremony. So there are many different lines that we may use, just as the past Buddhas realized bodhicitta and practiced bodhisattva. I too, for the sake of sentient beings, will generate bodhicitta and
Oh yeah, that's true.
So with this, we are done with the bodhicitta ceremony.
Lord,
So the lines that His Holiness went through are just as all the Buddhas of the past have brought forth the awakening mind, and in the precepts of the Bodhisattvas, step by step abode and trained. Likewise, for the benefit of beings, I will bring to birth the awakening mind, and in those precepts, step by step, I will abide and train myself. Today, my life has given fruit. This human state has now been well assumed. Today, I take my birth in Buddha's line and have become the Buddha's child and heir. In every way, then I will undertake activities benefiting such a rank, and I will do no act to mar or compromise this high and faultless lineage. And this is now the prayer for the flourishing of the teaching of the Buddha. So those lines, the first two verses come from chapter 3 of Bodhisattva Charya Avatara, verses 23, 24, 26, and 27. So the first two verses were said 3 times for bodhicitta. So I also thank you. Chuzu number payage, when they base and jen, chambe sewa mich, the basumla, trigger, Dangmen Tapshi, Sinjun Tang, Yanda Tala, Chuna, Dagi Sinjun Dumish, Dagi Pandi Panjad, Dago Yure Nejad, Dagi Midi Chishan, Dagi Chile Dajad, Yanda Tala Gujad, Dago Tadu Gujad, Yuri Demo Mojo, Chichi Jabo Zongabi, Chuza Namba Pewa, Gigi Chama Shiva, Molu Tsawa. These are prayers for auspicious of the Buddha Lama, the glorious Lamas. May the glorious Lamas be auspicious. And the next is prayer or invocation of the Yidam deities, the meditation deities, and through them may there be auspiciousness. And then next is invocation of the Buddhas. The Buddhas of the 10 directions, may there be auspiciousness through them. And the next is the Dakas and Dakinis of the 3 sacred places and so forth. May there be auspiciousness through them. And then the invocation of the Dharma protectors. May there be auspiciousness through the Dharma protectors.